You know, it may be the end of the year, but there's still a lot happening on Capitol Hill. You've got the Senate Minority Leader openly taunting the president.
The president is so used to obsequious advisors who fail to dispel his false and made-up facts that he lives in a cocoon of his own mistruth. Leader Pelosi and I had to tell him, no, Mr. President, that's not true. We had to puncture that cocoon, and he threw a temper tantrum because of it.
You've got the president trying to ram through a vote in the House on his border wall. Political consequences be damned.
The question of whether or not we can move it, yes, we can move it. The question of whether or not that's the right play call, that I think is quite debatable.
Since Trump said that he would be proud to shut down the government, doesn't that kind of screw your messaging?
I bet.
Care to elaborate?
Nope.
Okay, that was Republican Congressman Patrick McHenry, who serves as a chief deputy whip, saying basically he's destroyed our strategy. And you've got some top Republicans willing to actually support a government shutdown while trotting out the same tired talking points from just before the midterms.
What do you make of the president saying he's willing to shut the government down over the wall?
I think it's very important. I think that we have seen what has happened with the caravans, because we've had people cross the borders illegally, but you never see anything as threatening as caravans. And obviously you don't want to encourage more of that.
I'm sorry. Willie Geist, you've never seen anything as threatening as caravans. It was a made-up story. It was a made for midterm elections story. And I wonder what the good people of Iowa think about their senior senator saying that caravans are the most threatening thing to the United States ever.
That's an amazing thing. And the president the other day conflating stories about what happened in France the other day with what's happening at our border. This is why we need tough border walls. This is why we need immigration policy. There's no problem with terrorists coming over the border. That's been proven statistically again and again. And there's really no problem with the caravan. Yes, there are people who attempt to cross the border. It happened. We saw some of it in Tijuana several weeks ago. But there are not mass caravans moving into this country. And I don't know why at this point, with the midterms passed, I can't figure out a justification for someone like Senator Chuck Grassley, who knows better, to continue to push that story.
I mean, Mike, what is going on where you have Chuck Grassley, who I know a lot of Republicans, Heilman, would look at Chuck Grassley and say, you know what, he served us well. And I know a lot of people in Utah would say the same thing about Orrin Hatch. But both of these senators are absolutely humiliating themselves right now. And you wonder if there are any family members or staff members that can politely take them to the side and say, you've got a great legacy, please, enough.
I don't know if there are. It would be helpful to both of them if there were. But I think the part of the thing here, Joe, is a very vivid illustration of the kind of signature reflex that we've seen on display throughout the entirety of the Trump term, which is that many people who you would have thought would know better have become kind of conditioned to a reflexive bowing and scraping before Donald Trump. They never want to say anything that gets them on the wrong side of Donald Trump, that gets them crosswise with Donald Trump, that contradicts Donald Trump in any way. And they're not alone in this. These particular instances are pretty glaring, but we've seen it time and time again for 2 years, which is that if you're a Republican in the United States Senate, you're asked a question, the way in which you answer is, what's the way in which I can answer this question that will not provoke some kind of a mean tweet from President Trump?
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.